The Young and the Restless spoilers, Saturday's update, full 10th, 2024. This week's episode of The Young and the Restless is drenched in sorrow, regret, and heartbreak, as the characters confront unexpected loss, unresolved guilt, and looming schemes that threaten to unravel their lives. The death of Heather, which should have been dramatic and filled with suspense, instead feels hollow and anticlimactic, leaving those who loved her devastated, wondering how her life could end so quietly and without closure. Daniel's regret, blaming himself. Daniel is consumed with guilt, convinced that his chaotic involvement with Sharon has somehow brought tragedy into the lives of those around him. He blames himself for Heather's death, as though his missteps with Sharon set off a chain reaction that led to her untimely demise. The weight of his remorse is crushing, but Daniel knows deep down that his guilt won't bring Heather back. He must find a way to move forward, to be strong for his family, and to ensure that justice is served. But one question lingers over everything. Who is truly responsible for Heather's death? The upcoming funeral promises to be a pivotal moment. It is more than just a farewell to Heather. It's an opportunity to unearth the truth. Rumors swirl about whether Sharon will show her face at the service. Her presence could shatter any illusions of innocence she has left, and the tension surrounding her possible appearance grows by the minute. The funeral may be somber, but for those in Genoa City, it also represents a chance for long-buried secrets to be revealed and for the real killer to be exposed. Lily and Victor's scheme against Billy. While grief over Heather's death hangs heavy in the air, another plot is unfolding quietly behind the scenes. Victor Newman, the ever-calculating patriarch, has joined forces with Lily Winters to orchestrate the downfall of Billy Abbott. Together, they have devised a ruthless plan to bring Billy to his knees, leaving him with nothing: no power, no wealth, no reputation. Victor's motivation is clear. Billy has been a thorn in his side for far too long, and Victor is not a man who tolerates disobedience or disrespect for his empire. For Lily, the reasons are more personal. She knows that Billy has drifted away from her emotionally, his heart torn between his past mistakes and his unresolved feelings for Chelsea. But Lily is not one to be taken lightly. She's determined to protect her own future, and if that means cutting Billy out of her life and business, so be it. The two unlikely allies, Victor and Lily, see Billy as a mutual problem that needs to be solved, and together they are determined to erase him from the picture. Phyllis, the wild card. However, there is one major obstacle standing in their way. Phyllis Summers. Once known for her greed and ambition, Phyllis has always been a master at playing the game of power and manipulation. Victor knows this all too well. He sees Phyllis as a potential ally, someone who could be swayed by the right offer. If he can buy her loyalty with promises of wealth and influence, she could tip the scales in his favor, helping him and Lily crush Billy once and for all. But what Victor doesn't fully realize is that Phyllis is no longer the woman she once was. She has evolved over the years. The old Phyllis might have jumped at the chance to make a deal with Victor, tempted by the allure of money and prestige. But the Phyllis of today is different. She's no longer driven by greed or the thirst for power. Her priorities have shifted. She's thinking about her future in a new way, one that's centered on personal growth, on becoming a better version of herself, and on securing a legacy that goes beyond wealth or influence. Phyllis has been burned too many times by chasing after power, and she's learned the hard way that it comes at a steep price. Now, she's focused on creating a future that's stable, meaningful, and built on a foundation of integrity. She knows what Victor is offering, and she knows how tempting it would be to align herself with him. But she's not willing to compromise her newfound values, no matter how much Victor tries to sway her. The choice that changes everything. As Phyllis contemplates her next move, she becomes the unexpected wild card in Victor and Lily's plot. Will she remain true to her new path and refuse Victor's offer, or will she be pulled back into the seductive world of power plays and manipulation? If Phyllis chooses to stand by Billy, she could be the one person who saves him from total ruin. But if she accepts Victor's deal, it could seal Billy's fate and change the balance of power in Genoa City forever. Meanwhile, Chelsea is on the edge of a breakdown, her life torn between her growing connection with Billy and the pressures from Adam and Connor to return to their family. With Heather's death, the emotional tension is thicker than ever. And Chelsea finds herself caught in the crossfire of everyone's schemes, manipulations, and desires. The funeral of Heather may be the catalyst for a storm of revelations and betrayals, with all eyes on Sharon's potential appearance and the unresolved tensions that have been festering beneath the surface. And as Victor's machinations play out, it remains to be seen whether Phyllis will help orchestrate Billy's downfall or become the unlikely ally that saves him from disaster. Chelsea's realization, the unraveling of the plan. For the next few days, Chelsea remained oblivious to the manipulation. She was too busy tending to Connor and reassuring him that everything was okay. But slowly, doubts began to creep in. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about Connor's illness. He had seemed so sick, and yet there was nothing wrong with him. And then there was the missed dinner with Billy, a dinner she had been so desperate to attend but had completely forgotten about in the chaos. When Chelsea finally reached out to Billy, it was too late. He had already made up his mind. His anger and disappointment were clear in his voice as he coldly told her that they were done. No more excuses, no more apologies. Chelsea tried to explain, to tell him about Connor's sudden illness, but Billy didn't want to hear it. He had waited for 2 hours, and she hadn't even bothered to call. That was all he needed to know. The weight of what had happened hit Chelsea hard. She had wanted so badly to talk to Billy, to tell him how she felt, and now that chance was gone. But as she sat there, replaying the events in her mind, a chilling thought began to form. What if Connor's illness hadn't been real? What if Adam had orchestrated the whole thing to keep her from Billy? The more she thought about it, the more it made sense. Connor had seemed perfectly fine after they left the hospital, and Adam had been uncharacteristically calm throughout the entire ordeal. Chelsea began to see the pieces fall into place. The subtle ways Adam had been pulling her back, keeping her close to him and away from anyone else. Could Adam have really used their son to manipulate her? And if so, how far would he go to ensure she stayed with him and Connor? The realization sent a chill down Chelsea's spine, the question of redemption. Now, Chelsea faced an impossible choice. Could she forgive Adam and Connor for what they had done? Could she let go of Billy and accept the life Adam had been so desperate to recreate? Or would she confront the truth and fight for her own happiness, even if it meant shattering the fragile peace in her family? As Chelsea wrestled with these questions, one thing was clear. Nothing in Genoa City was ever as simple as it seemed, and the battle for her heart was far from over.